Remember that time you spent like 15 minutes trying to return a faulty blender and the system had crashed?
Yeah.
Or, when a perfectly smooth online purchase just showed up a day early, exactly as
The
promised.
best feeling.
Well, what if I told you both those experiences weren't just random luck? They're actually the direct result of something fundamental, yet often unseen in business, their customer interaction processes. Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to unpack how that underlying flow of activities within a business really shapes your experience as a customer.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, isn't it? You might think customer satisfaction is, well, all about the product itself. But what our sources are showing is that these sort of invisible mechanics, the how you buy something, often make a much deeper impact than the what's. It shapes loyalty, you know, long before you even think about buying again. It's a critical layer that, honestly, most businesses don't quite master.
Okay, so when we talk about a process here, what exactly are we zooming in on? We're talking about those often invisible streams of activity, right? The ones that dictate how a business actually delivers its product or service.
Exactly.
From the moment you click add to cart online to, I guess, the delivery confirmation email, it's all a process. Sometimes meticulously designed, sometimes not so much.
Precisely. Businesses set up these, well, operating systems. And what's often overlooked by them, but felt very acutely by you, the customer, is this basic expectation that these systems will just work.
Right, they have to work.
Yeah. The sources really emphasize that the total purchasing experience is absolutely vital for satisfaction. It's just not enough to have a great product if getting it is a pain.
That makes sense.
If that journey is clunky, you've basically lost.
And what really stood out for me in the material is how these seemingly small snags in a process can completely derail an otherwise good experience. We've all been there, haven't we? The long queues at checkouts or just waiting ages to be served.
Oh, yeah. Infuriating.
And online, it's that non-negotiable expectation, like guaranteed delivery within a reasonable time. But it's more than just waiting, isn't it? It feels disrespectful sometimes.
It does. And our sources suggest these common frustrations often point to deeper flaws in the process design itself, not just, a single bad day or employee.
So, okay, speaking of process design, what about things like payment? That seems core.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
And it raises this point about convenience versus complexity. It's not just about offering, say, credit cards or digital wallets. The sources highlight how important the seamless integration and, crucially, the reliability of these different payment systems are.
Ah, a liability.
Yeah. It's one thing to offer buy now, pay later, for instance, but it's another challenge entirely to ensure it reconciles in real time and that there's integrated customer service if something goes wrong with that deferred payment.
Okay, so the back-end process needs to be solid, too.
That's where the process really gets stress tested.
Yeah.
And where, frankly, many businesses fall short.
And it's not just these big, obvious processes. Our sources also point out these, micro moments, these almost invisible interactions. You mean things like just answering the phone quickly?
Exactly that. The sources literally call out even simple things such as answering a telephone promptly, having a reliable message system, and responding to messages within a reasonable time as crucial process issues.
Wow.
These aren't just minor annoyances. They signal the business's actual regard for your time, for your needs. It can genuinely be the difference between keeping or losing you as a customer.
So pulling this together, one of the really big takeaways from our material seems to be this core idea. All systems and processes need to be designed to maximize the benefit for the customer, not just for the convenience of the business or its staff. Now, that sounds great, but isn't there often a tension there between what's easy for the customer and what's efficient or cheap for the business?
There definitely can be a tension.
Yeah.
For sure. But the sources aren't really suggesting, reckless spending just for customer whim. They're emphasizing that true efficiency often comes from designing for the customer first.
How so?
Because unhappy customers are expensive. They cost you time, resources, reputation.
Ah.
And here's where it gets even more interesting today. Review websites can provide evidence that may influence potential customers.
Right, the public element.
Exactly. Your experience, good or bad, isn't just between you and the business anymore. It's out there. It becomes public data, directly influencing whether someone else decides to buy from them.
So wrapping this up, what does this all really mean for us, for you listening? We've seen these often hidden processes are actually right at the heart of your customer experience.
Yeah, from the biggest purchase down to the tiniest interaction. And it raises an important question, maybe a challenge for you going forward.
Yeah.
When you're interacting with a business next time, online or in person, try to consciously notice the how. Pay attention to the process itself.
Yeah, notice how quick that website loads, or how easy or maybe difficult that return was. Think about how those smooth moments or those frustrating delays aren't just random. They're likely a direct result of how that business has designed its operations. It's less about luck, much more about intentional design.
So here's a final thought for you to consider. Reflect on a recent customer interaction you had. Go beyond just the product or service itself. Were those underlying processes, the how of it all, truly set up to maximize your benefit? Or could you perhaps sense they were designed more for the business's convenience, maybe even at your expense? Something to think about.